An Indian national has formally pleaded guilty to plotting the assassination of a Sikh leader on American soil.
As regards the case against an individual that has been filed in a US court, allegedly linking him to an Indian official, this is a matter of concern.
US prosecutors say this plot was directed by a foreign government-linked official. That single fact changes the nature of this entire case. Because this is no longer about one individual acting alone, it is about a political killing planned across borders involving handlers, money, and operational coordination, all exposed inside a US courtroom. This did not emerge through back-channel diplomacy. It did not surface through intelligence leaks. It is documented in court filings, sworn testimony, and a guilty plea accepted under US law. The individual at the center of this case, Nikhil Gupta, appeared before a federal court in New York and admitted under oath to 3 serious crimes, including murder for hire and conspiracy. The intended target was Gurpatwant Singh Pannun, a US citizen targeted not for violence but for his political views. According to court records, Gupta believed he was dealing with a criminal intermediary. In reality, he was communicating with a confidential source and an undercover law enforcement officer. The agreed payment for the assassination was $100,000 with a $15,000 cash advance arranged in June 2023. Gupta provided detailed personal information about the target, where he lived, how he moved, and when he could be reached. This was not political rhetoric. This was operational planning for a targeted killing inside New York. American authorities say the plot was stopped only because law enforcement intervened in time. What makes this case extraordinary is not just the crime itself, but the direction behind it. US prosecutors have now explicitly identified that foreign official as Vikas Yadav, a former officer linked to India's Research and Analysis Wing, RAW, working under the Cabinet Secretariat. Court filings cite multiple pieces of documentary and digital evidence tying Yadav to India's intelligence ecosystem, including raw recruitment advertisements for assistant directors, Cabinet Secretariat payslips, government tax documents, and scanned identity records. The foreign state itself is not on trial, but under the international law, the involvement of a government-linked official raises serious questions of state responsibility. This is the point where a criminal case becomes a global security issue. Prosecutors have submitted emails and photographs showing Vikas Yadav in uniform, standing in front of an Indian aircraft with the word Indian clearly visible. US authorities argue that this material is not symbolic but corroborative, meant to establish identity, access, and official linkages. Gupta's defense, supported by an Indian legal counsel, has argued that these documents are irrelevant. While prosecutors counter it, the material explains authority, capability, and the operational chain behind the assassination plot. The timeline adds another disturbing layer. On June 18, 2023, Sikh leader Hardeep Singh Nijjar was assassinated in Canada. US court filings indicate that shortly after that killing, Gupta referred to Nijjar as another target and suggested that there were more. Investigators believe a video showing Nijjar's body was shared to send a clear message that critics of the Indian state could be eliminated even outside the country. This establishes pattern, not coincidence. Court filings further warn that this was not intended to be a single operation. Prosecutors say communications between Gupta and Yadav referenced additional potential targets, including in California and in the region encompassing Nepal and Pakistan. One Nepal-based plot, according to the US prosecutors, followed a structure described as strikingly similar to the New York plan, involving location sharing, hitmen described as soldiers, urgency of execution, and conditional payment. Now, history shows that this is not without precedent. In 1976, a Chilean dissident, Orlando Letelier, was assassinated in Washington in an operation later linked to Chile's intelligence services. The US treated it as a direct violation of its sovereignty. In Europe, the Mykonos restaurant assassinations in Berlin led German courts to establish links between the killings and Iranian state structures, triggering a continent-wide diplomatic crisis. And more recently, the poisoning of Alexander Litvinenko in the United Kingdom resulted in a public inquiry that concluded that the operation was likely approved at senior levels of the Russian state. In each of these cases, the pattern was the same: covert operations abroad, initial denials, followed by legal findings and international accountability. This is the same framework now emerging in the present case. And this is where Pakistan's position becomes directly relevant. You see, for years, Pakistan has consistently stated at the UN, in diplomatic engagements, and through formal dossiers that India has conducted covert operations and sponsored targeted violence beyond its borders. Those assertions were often dismissed internationally as regional rivalry. What has changed now is that similar patterns are being exposed not by Pakistani intelligence but inside US and Western courtrooms, based on evidence gathered by American law enforcement. Globally, such cases fall under what international watchdogs describe as transnational repression, where states pursue critics across borders through intimidation, coercion, or violence. Legal experts note that the Gupta-Yadav case fits squarely within this category. A cross-border assassination attempt facilitated through intelligence-linked handlers, arms logistics, false identities, and covert financing. The prosecution filing suggests that this was part of a repeatable operational model, not an isolated lapse. For countries like Pakistan, which have long raised concerns about externally sponsored terrorism, this case reinforces arguments that were once dismissed as political claims. Here, facts originate not from regional rivalry, but from a US federal investigation, a guilty plea entered under oath, and judicial findings. This case is not about narrative. It is not about perception. It is about evidence, law, and accountability. A planned political killing was uncovered, the accused admitted his role under oath, and the implications extend far beyond one courtroom. We will continue to follow the story as the legal process moves towards sentencing and as the international response unfolds. We have with us the assassination target of this case, Mr. Gurpatwant Singh Pannun himself. Pannu Sahab, it's a pleasure to have you here with us. Mr. Pannu, I'll delve right into it. For years, your organization and Pakistan have been trying to expose the role of the Indian state in transnational repression and, of course, also as a state sponsor of terrorism. Would you say that stance today, after this case, has been vindicated?
Ji, Dr. Saab, and to people of Pakistan, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. This is right now, after Nikhil Gupta pled guilty, the stance which Pakistan government has taken for years that India is exporting terrorism cross-border, and after Narendra Modi's regime, I'm saying since 2014, before it was different, a way of promoting terrorism in the different states. After Narendra Modi's regime, they have openly sending the hitman, the assassination squads, and it all started from Pakistan, if you will look into it. And once he pled guilty, the world knows it, Americans knows it, Canadians knows it, and the European Union know it, that this is India, which is exporting, which is the biggest exporter of terrorism across the world through transnational repression.
Do you think, owing to India's extensive global economic ties, we cannot expect anything much out of this case because it will end up being one individual who's going to be prosecuted? The state itself will be shielded from all of this. Do you think that'll happen, or do you see stronger ramifications for the Indian state?
No, not in America. I can assure you that the American system works differently than a trade system, which is happening in many countries. In America, in this murder for hire plot, you have already seen that the Department of Justice press release clearly states Nikhil Gupta was acting on behalf of an Indian government employee. So They did not mince their word. They came out openly and came swinging at Narendra Modi's government. And one of the Indian raw officials, Vikas Jadhav, he is the most wanted on FBI list. So when you look into the Department of Justice and America, but if you compare it with the other countries, I'm not sure how they are going to handle. But in America, you will see the consequences the Narendra Modi government is going to face for murder for hire plot or for continuous surveillance on pro-Palestine Sikhs.
So, what kind of sentence are you expecting in May? I believe the sentence is going to be announced in May. What kind of a sentence are you expecting?
Means I can be just, I'm at the same place where you are, since I'm not a part of the prosecution. They are seeking, I think, over 20 years for murder, conspiracy to murder, and for money laundering. We will all know on 29th of May at 10 a.m. When the U.S. federal judge is going to announce the sentencing. They have different guidelines, and they can go above the guideline and they have to follow. What exactly is going to happen and transpire, we will all know on 29th May. There are already serious consequences which Indian government is facing at the hands of the Trump administration. What they do over here is for diplomatic reasons and for their national security reasons, they don't make all the consequences which India is facing, they don't make it public. And I can give you a few examples that the Indian raw officials, which is officially designated in every country, including in Pakistan, they have been removed and expelled from San Francisco, from Washington, D.C., from New York from 2023. And they are not allowing any Indian raw officials to be back in America. The consequences or the ramifications are serious, and they're going to face serious consequences for this murder for hire plot and continuous surveillance. Because if the American and the Trump administration, if they do not put their foot down now, today it is Gurpatwant Singh Pannun, a lawyer and a human rights activist. Tomorrow it will be a congressman, it will be a senator, and it can be a president itself. That's how the Indian works. If they are not going to put any consequences on Narendra Modi's government, it is going to embolden them, it's going to encourage them to continue their assassination plots as they are doing it in Canada. You can watch what is happening in Canada, you can compare it with that. That Shahid Nijjar's assassination, PM Trudeau openly stated in the parliament that they are investigating the Indian agents' hands in the assassination of Shahid Singh Nijjar. And later on, they expelled the Indian diplomat Sanjay Verma and 6 others, including the raw official. But today's government, PM Carney's government, has put up a motion and an application in the federal court that they do not want to give all the evidence. Rather, they want to suppress the evidence, which can be injurious to the international relations or national security of the Canada. So you can see that the consequences which India is going to face in Canada, they may not be facing any consequences except the foot soldiers, those 4 who have been caught and who have been right now prosecuted. But in America, it's different. In America, the investigation is going to continue. Vikas Jadhav will be extradited one day, and you can mark my word, this is not happening in America. And also in Canada, even if the PM Carney government thinks that the Canadians or the Canadian Sikhs are going to be quiet, we're not going to be quiet. We are quiet only to a certain extent because we are running a peaceful and a democratic campaign. But when it comes to that we are not going to get any justice or there is not going to be any accountability of Narendra Modi's government, then we are going to put our foot down. We will make sure that the Indian government employees who were involved and who are involved in still assassination plots, they are held accountable under the Canadian laws, or the Sikhs have a long history of resilience and continuing the pursuit for the justice.
Right. Mr. Pannun, thank you very much for your time, and let's hope that justice is served, and not just in Nikhil Gupta's case, but in exposing the Indian hand in cross-border terrorism and transnational repression. Let's hope that happens. On that note,
justice is going to happen, and it is going to happen with the balkanization of India. It is going to happen with the liberation of Indian occupied Punjab and the Kashmir's independence runs through Punjab, you will see that that is the justice what we are seeking.
Thank you very much for your time, Mr. Pannu, and that's all from the World Order for today. We will see you next week.